actually going to take a look at the new T6 pilot ships that just came out. We are taking a look at the Federation variants. Pretty much going to be obviously the same layout, same traits for the KDF and Romulan variant. As you'll see here, for the Federation, it is the Andorian ship skins, updated to T6, but this is what they chose to use as the base, which I think is actually really cool. I always loved the Andorian ships. I loved them when I first saw them in Enterprise and in this game, so it's, pretty nice to have a T6 version now. As you can see, they have done, a little bit different to the actual layout. This one here we're looking at is the tactical. Here we have the engineering variant, which looks actually pretty nice itself, and then the science one. So that ISA was a beamboat build in there. You saw a little bit of lag, but just overall trying to get an idea of the performance. It's a good quality ship. We'll take a look here. The layout is 5-2. That's across the board for all three. They have an experimental weapon slot. The experimental weapon it comes with, we see here, it's the Alliance Hyper Cannon. It's doing radiation damage. What's interesting about it, actually, though, is it has the procs of Disruptor, as you'll see, Plasma, and Phaser. So that's actually quite interesting. 10% chance to do all three of those Alliance weaponry procs. So that will be interesting to test it out. Usually radiation damage doesn't really do much in the game. Anytime you have any kind of secondary radiation, I've never really seen much output out of it, to be honest. So it will be interesting to see the overall performance of this beam, but that nice disruptor proc, it could be interesting. We'll take a look. As you can see here on the tactical variant, all of them come with 5 tactical consoles, and then the tactical variant has 3 and 3 for engine science, whereas the engineering is going to be a 4-2 here, and then science obviously is going to be a 4-2 the opposite, with science having the most. Otherwise, we're looking at the same kind of layout. Starship Mastery we'll take a look at. +5 accuracy. We have +5 to defense, +10 to kinetic and energy, and then 2.5 crit chance. The tactical, which is the Thosin, is giving us promise of ferocity, lockout. +4 bonus weapon damage for duration of combat when using a pilot or tactical bridge officer ability. Max once per 4 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. All stacks lost when leaving combat. So essentially, the first time you hit a tactical bridge officer ability, you're going to get a stack. 4 seconds later, or any time after that obviously, anytime you hit another tactical ability or pilot ability, you will get the second stack, and so on. Up to 5 times, meaning we're getting 20% bonus damage to weapons, which is Cat 2, and then last the entire time you're in combat. If we're looking at this in terms of ISA or HSE, kind of our parsing maps there, really nice. In terms of CCA, by the time you're going to get them all, a good CCA is going to be over. But with ISA and HSE, if you're piloting them correctly, the minute you go into combat, you're not going to leave combat until the end of the run. So this is an interesting trait. Not sure if they're going to change anything about the time it takes to build up stacks, but even if they extend it to something like 10 seconds, I still see this being a really nice trait, because the 20% Cat 2 damage is going to be at the best part of ISA, which is the last part with the gateway and the spheres and the cube, and then through something like HSE, you'll still have it for a majority of the run. So that's a really nice one. We'll take a look here at the engineering trait, Painful Memories to any foe affected by one of your engineering bridge officer abilities, -50 flight speed, and 5.8 electrical damage. Obviously, we're on the ground, with 100% shield pen. So it's pretty much flight speed debuff and electrical damage with full shield pen. So, affected by an engineer bridge officer ability. See, that's an interesting one, because how many engineering bridge officer abilities are actually going to affect foe? So I'm not sure about that one. Something like structural integrity collapse. There are a few, but not a lot, so I don't really see kind of where that one comes into play. But, I have to test it out. Another really interesting one here is on the science variant, improved gravity well. This one is exciting and has our resident Psy guy of the DPS After Dark crew salivating. So it is improved gravity well. Duration of gravity well increased by 20 seconds. Recharge time of gravity well reduced by 20 seconds. Right there, that means constant uptime on gravity well. Primary target of gravity well suffers negative 20 all damage resistance rating for 40 seconds. I mean, so nice there. My first thought is for my Psy guy, I love it because, the more you have time to, the more uptime on controlling the map, any map, it just makes for such beautiful things. In ISA, you can literally just throw a gravity well in the gateway, and all those spheres that are going to come out at all those different times are just going to get sucked on there. You're not going to have to worry about anything, and then they'll be there at the end when you want to go beat them up. And the debuff obviously is really nice, so this is a really intriguing Starship trait for science, for full-on exotic side builds, for support builds, anything like that. So, that one, two really nice traits off these three ships. So, I'm enjoying them so far. We're going to take a look here at the consoles. On this run, we did use the console that comes on the tactical, which is the Gateway Trap Spawner. It's giving us a boost to control expertise and scientific readiness. And then it creates a gateway trap within 2 kilometers of foe for 10 seconds, which causes the following to all enemies within 5 kilometers. Constantly pull toward gateway trap, 1500 kinetic damage each second, a negative flight speed and turn rate debuff there of 80%, and then 2 foes pulled within 0.2 kilometers of gateway trap, teleport to exit gateway, all subsystems offline for 4 seconds. Really interesting. I've used it a little in there. This is something you kind of got to play around with, see when is the best time to kind of use it and things like that. But an interesting console, definitely was fun. And I want to see if it will actually teleport something like a cube. Because if you notice, with gravity well and something, the tactical cubes, they'll be affected by the damage and whatnot, but they will not actually move or be pulled. So I would actually be interested to see a cube if that gets teleported there. The other two we have, here we have, let's close that so all those aren't popping up with us there. We have the Neurophasic Disruption Field. This one's giving us a flight speed boost and 100 resistance rating to speed and turn debuffs, so nothing crazy there. When activated, it's going to do once per 10 seconds, affecting up to 10 foes within 5 kilometers of target foe, 428 electrical damage. Again, we're on the ground, so these aren't going to be true numbers, but it's doing electrical damage, confused for 1 second, and 20% chance to disable for 1 second. Most things that are electrical, most things that are electrical, like the isometric charge and whatnot, the electrical damage is actually boosted by EPG, so that might be interesting. But again, those kind of consoles I see working really well in certain situations in ISA and then CCA, but on really heavy science boats with secondary deflectors, obviously these ships do not have that, even for the science variant. So, again, nothing special here, but not bad. The one of these three that I'm really interested in is the Wing Torpedo Platform. So the base stats are 2.5 critical chance with projectile weapons and plus 20 critical severity with projectile weapons. Deploy Wing Torpedo Launcher Platform. Launches a pair of level 61 wing torpedo platforms that follow your ship for 60 seconds. Each wing torpedo platform will periodically fire a torpedo at your current target, dealing high kinetic damage, 2-minute recharge. When activating any rank of torpedo spread, apply torpedo spread 1 to wing torpedo platform. When activating any rank of torpedo high yield, Apply Torpedo High Yield 1 to Wing Torpedo Platform. So that's really interesting, actually. So anytime, if you're running a torpo kind of variant on the ship, which I actually am going to try for the next one here in this video, and then we'll talk about that build after. Anytime you activate spread for the torps you want to throw out there, you're going to get a spread with this platform. Anytime the same thing with high yield, you're going to get a high yield 1. So it's similar to like concentrate firepower, torpedo barrage in terms of you use any copy, higher, lower, it's going to automatically give you a 1 with these. So it will be interesting to see what the damage this puts out is. Is it a good amount of kinetic damage? I think the passives are pretty nice for a torpedo period, so, you know, if it gives out any kind of good secondary DPS, I think it's worthwhile. And we'll just hop out into space here to get a better look at the ship and see. Obviously it's a pilot ship, but it does mean it's a true pilot ship. So now I think we're up to 7 for each of the, well, actually the D4X, which is for the Klingons, so they actually have 8. But for Fed and Rom now, it's the actual pilot ships that we got originally. Then it's the Miradorn, and now these 3. So, you know, you can see here the tactical one. I mean, it looks really nice, you know. And obviously the double tap, it's really fun. Maneuvers well, like you'd expect. Kind of paper thin though, which again for a little escort kind of raider hybrid, kind of like these pilot ships are, you kind of would expect that. So that wasn't a shock. As we did take a look at seating wise, really nice and balanced. So, you know, definitely a nice ship for any kind of build like that with the 5.2. I like that it actually does have the 2 in the back instead of 1, like the other pilot ships, and then has the experimental slots. So, you know, there's nothing funky on the build, so I'm not really going to go over it. It's the basic stuff. The only thing, we did actually use that Starship trait from this, Promise of Ferocity. You know, wanted to try that out, and then also we did use the console it comes with, again, just to kind of give it a test out. The trap spawner. In that run, I'm not even sure if I got it off, because it actually has, it seems interesting in terms of its targeting arc. It says 135-degree targeting arc, but I've also noticed that, you know, being within certain ranges, either too far or too close, it wasn't actually activatable. It was kind of grayed out like this, so there weren't a lot of opportunities when I was looking to hit it that it was up, so it's going to take a little more time to kind of get used to it being there. So though I was using it, I actually don't think I did put it off in that run, because it's not something like torpedo, like the bombardment, where it's just kind of, oh, here, it's up, let me hit it. It was grayed out quite a bit, so I actually don't think I was kind of looking to get it off at the right time, so it's going to be something I have to play with a little more. But, you know, overall, I think a really nice set of ships. One thing, though, that, and I do believe in the live stream that the devs did, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, they did talk about how I do believe they're going to link up these 3 consoles that come on the ship with the Domino console, which was the anniversary ship. Now, if you remember the last 2 years of the anniversary ship, first being the Krenum signed ship, and which had timeline stabilizer, the timeline stabilizer linked up with the flagship consoles that came off of the Odysseys and the Scimitars to make a 4-piece. Last year, the Lucari ship, the Protomatter, linked up with the T6 Vesta consoles. So I was surprised that these were only a 3-piece set bonus, which actually we haven't taken a look at. Let's take a look at what the 3-piece set is. 2 pieces are going to give us plus 10 flight speed and plus 10 accuracy. And then 3 pieces reduce recharge on Alliance Allied Pilot Escort console by 1 minute. So pretty much kind of standard there. It will be interesting to see what the 4-piece is, because, you know, essentially, if we're looking back historically, these should link up with Domino, and I think they are going to make that change. So, you know, we'll take a look out and kind of see what that 4-piece is. I would think, if we look back on those, that the 4th piece would be kind of a buff to these abilities. that's kind of what it is with like dynamic and the consoles that it goes with and timeline. Here, let's take a look. The 3-piece is the same recharge speed kind of thing, and then the 4-piece is upgrades the consoles. So I would imagine once they link up Domino, that would be the same thing we'd see there. But we'll have to actually check that out when it comes out. So next, we're just going to put a little torpedo variant on here and see what kind of shenanigans and fun we could have with that. Again, kind of for the overall review, it's a good ship. Good trait on the tactical, good trait on the science. Obviously, depending on like what styles you're looking for. And with the Zen sale and the ship sale right now, I bought the 3-pack for the Fed for 4,800. So, it's a good deal. If they are ships you're interested in, I would say that now is probably the time to get them. Not telling everybody to go out and dump their hard-earned money in, but if they are ships that you did want, I mean, first off, just on look, I think they look good if you're a fan of the Andorian ships. They are pilot ships, so they are very fun. And they do come with some good stuff. I mean, they have good, solid layouts there. The 5.2, the console layout's nice, very heavy tactical, all of them. 2 of the 3 traits really nice, and some of the consoles are interesting. And we'll like I said, in this next run, we'll take a look at the torpedo one and see how that goes. So, overall, a big fan, like what they did here, and I hope you guys are.